The problem says simplify a over the cube root of 4. It's a little difficult to read, so I rewrote it. To simplifying means you can never leave radicals in the denominator. So don't leave radicals in the denominator, so we have to rationalize the denominator. So if we rationalize the denominator, what we want to do is we got to get rid of this radical off of the denominator. So here's what we do. This is a cube root. We haven't dealt with them nearly as often, but we want to multiply times the cube root on top and bottom, so we're going to multiply by equivalency of 1. This fraction here that we create will be equivalent to 1. But what I want to do is I want to make sure that I end up creating a perfect cube. So if I've got the cube root of 4 to the first, I want to multiply it times the cube root of 4 to the second, so that when I multiply these two things together, the cube root of 4 times the cube root of 4 squared is the cube root of 4 times 4 squared. Just taking a little bit of time to write out some different steps here, equals the cube root of 4 cubed, which is 4. And that's the whole point and intention of rationalizing the denominator. We want to get rid of the radical out of the denominator. So that's the part that requires the most work. Whatever we do to the bottom, we have to do to the top, so it's the cube root of 4 squared. And now we've got to go through the process of simplifying this. So this is going to be a times the cube root of 4 squared, which is 16. Now typically you'd think you'd be done, but you have a perfect cube here. That 3 is kind of messy, so we're going to clean it up. The cube root of 16. In 16, you can never leave in simplest radical form any perfect, in this case, cubes under the radical. And 16, coming down here, could be thought of as the cube root of 8 times 2. Now the reason I like 8 is a perfect cube. 8 times 2 is still 16. But the cube root of 8 is 2. So the cube root of 8 times the cube root of 2, I can use the radical rules of the cube root of a product is the product of the cube roots. Cube root of 8 is a 2 times the cube root of 2. So in simplest form, we're going to have 2 times the cube root of 2. Well, that's supposed to be put over 4, so it's 2 times the cube root of 2. We still have one more simplification that we can make, and that is our common factor of 2 in both 2 and 4. So 2 goes into 2 once, goes into 4 twice, and we'll be left with nothing more than the cube root of 2 all over 2. So it's kind of a little involved problem, but it goes back to the basic roots and foundations that we've had. Never leave radicals in the denominator. Never leave perfect cubes under your cube root symbol. And then you will be in simplest radical form.